We start by reciting the four great Bodhisattva vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to help them all. Delusions are countless. We vow to see through them all. Opportunities to awaken are infinite. We vow to embrace them all. The Buddha way is endless. We vow to embody it. So welcome everybody to our special Bodhi Day celebration. May we all wake up. We'll start with 15 minutes of seated meditation. We chant the Gatha on opening the Sutras. This Dharma, incomparably profound and minutely subtle, is rarely encountered, even in hundreds of thousands of millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, hold and maintain it. May we completely realize the true mind of all Buddhas. So tonight we are fortunate to have our old friend Johnson Sunmin Miller give us our special Bodhi Day Dharma talk.
Hey there, friends. Yeah, so it's Bodhi night, at least according to the solar calendar. According to the lunar calendar, we're a month early, but that's all right. Every night's Bodhi night, right? And so this is the night when Siddhartha supposedly received his ultimate awakening there. And we get a few versions of this. And one of those versions, the big insight that he grasped was the dependent arising. And so when I want to talk about dependent arising here tonight, or in sort of a practical way. But there's two major versions of this. There's the one emphasizing the 12 links of 12 links of dependent arising, but there's another lesser known one that involves just 9, and that's sort of repetitive rather than cyclical, like the 12 links are. So I want to focus on that concept and its use for moment-to-moment awareness, moment-to-moment awakening. And in fact, I think there may even be earlier, older versions of this. In the Pali Canon, the Book of Eights is generally regarded as by scholars as among the earliest of the texts in the Pali Canon. And in there, it seems like little bits of like an unsystematized version of dependent arising appears in there in places. And then there's this 9-fold version that's in the Nikaya. And then the dominant one we usually learn with the 12 links in the chain of dependent arising that appears in multiple places. But it's the 9-fold. So I don't know if that's progressive development over time, or if it's sort of earlier non-systematic version and then different versions of it appeared. But either way, it's the 9-fold one that I find most helpful. So here I'll read. It might not be. I'm going to read one part of the arising part rather than the cessation part here. And this is something that in the Sutta, Siddhartha tells a student who overhears it that he should memorize this and chant it regularly. And so this is something that I used to do for quite a while. It was quite helpful to do this practice. So through the interaction of I and form, so step 1, I consciousness arises. These 3 conditions together are contact. Contact conditions feeling, feeling conditions craving, craving conditions grasping, grasping conditions becoming, becoming conditions birth, and birth conditions aging and death. This thus arises the entire mass of suffering. So it's just those 9 there, and then it goes through, of course, ear and sound, nose and smell, and so forth. And so here you get, just like with the 12 links, the arising of dukkha. But also, and here overseeing, so with the 12 links, a sort of traditional interpretation of that is that explaining cycles of rebirth. But I'm not necessarily sure this one really allows for that. Instead, what we seem to be arising here is I, the sense of I and the sense of self, and therefore then the dukkha, I arises, and then suddenly it's like, oh, this sucks. And so it's this, and it's not, and there's not a cycle to it. Right? It's just this iterative process. So it seems suggested here, moment after moment, this continual arising of I, and therefore then of dukkha. And I found this to be a really useful map and way for helping me to watch that arising of I in moments. And so you get this, so the interaction between I and form. So in this case, form as this thing out there that your eye picks up on, and then consciousness, awareness of this arises. And then from that, okay, so there's the contact with whatever. And then from that emerges feeling, that judgmental sense of feeling, that it's pleasurable, desirable, you're indifferent to it, or feeling aversive to it. So this initial sense of judgment that then propels on, then a sense of craving or aversion, the flip side of the two, and then on from there to grasping. And to me, that's where that grasping moment, this is just a map, right? So just a model here. But in this map, it's that grasping then that you start to get that emerging of that sense of difference. That from there, that grasping, you get the mind, which maybe that's the becoming part. And then from there arises, comes birth, the sense of I, mine, and then I, as opposed to you and yours. And so then with that birth, that dissatisfaction, the dukkha. So if so, then this is, and if it's a decent map, then it's also a map for thinking about the cessation of dukkha. And here, just read real quick the cessation part of this version of dependent arising. So through the interaction of I and form, I consciousness arises. These three conditions together are contact conditions feeling conditions craving, but with the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same, reading the, got the wrong version of that there. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving comes cessation of grasping. With the cessation of grasping, cessation of becoming. And with the cessation of becoming, cessation of birth. With the cessation of birth, cessation of aging and death, thus ceases the entire mass of suffering. So sort of standard formula we're used to with thinking about dependent arising, except with just the nine there. But when I'm using this for practical purposes, when I would memorize it and chant it, I revised it a little bit for I think is a more practical use of this. This is cessation of I and form I consciousness arises. These three together are contact conditions feeling conditions craving. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving, cut off in a single stroke, are grasping, becoming, birth, aging, and death. Thus ceases the entire mass of suffering. Just go to the one and cutting off the others. So that I and form consciousness, the contact feeling, seems like those are all inevitable. That's just a matter of being human. Can't get around that, can't do anything about it. But where we can do anything about it, according to this map then, is cutting it off after feeling. So feeling that homeostatic disturbance to our system there. We recognize it and cut it off there. Observing the responses, letting them go away before the emergence of the craving that leads to grasping, that leads to I-ness and to dukkha. In practice, I can't tell the difference between grasping and craving, becoming and birth, and so forth. But usually more likely to catch something like craving rather than feeling any sort of moment to moment things. But sometimes feeling really works. So I've been having these migraines over the last 5-6 days or so, and I've never worked with pain as an object of meditation, but something odd happens when you do. So I've got this really specific, tight, sharp pain right here in my what do you call it, the eyebrow there, and but then when I concentrate on it, trying to find the feeling part of it rather than this thing that I call pain, which I find is much more dispersed and it's constantly moving. It's this sort of undulating mass, and that when I am able to really concentrate on it, it has this moment like it ceases to be pain. So there in that moment, seeing the feeling where that sort of judgmental aspect and cutting it off, and can actually see the with the in a single stroke, the cessation of that entire mass of suffering in my eye. Of course, that I usually have to be laying down to do that. I can't be grading papers like I've been doing most of this week while I've had that. But anyway, and so here we get this map, this way of looking at here, moment to moment, watching this this arising of I-ness, the rising of a craving, and a rising of the dukkha. And so I think that here we started off today, right, with chanting together, the opportunities to awaken are infinite. We vow to embrace them all. These are those moments. I think this is what this sutta points to here. These are these moment after moment where there's this opportunity to awaken. And so looking in each moment there, watching, going to feeling or what have you, there's that, turn to one's Huado, what is this? Or who am I? What am I? Or usually that turns into for me is, what is I? And here, so asking that Huado in each of those moments. And so 2,500 years ago, is the solar calendar, Siddhartha beneath the tree, supposedly mapped all this out, providing us a model for how to embrace those infinite moments, and they are infinite. So anyway, so friends, let's how we these opportunities, they are infinite. So how we can let's embrace them all.
Thank you, Johnson. It's nice to hear from you again. We'll go back and sit for another 15 minutes, and may we all awaken during that time. That'll wake you up. We chant the Heart Sutra. Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is safe from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore in emptiness, no form, no feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment with nothing to attain. A bodhisattva depends on prajna paramita, and the mind is no hindrance without any hindrance hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, one dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on prajna paramita and attain anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the prajna paramita mantra, proclaim the mantra which says gate gate parasamgate bodhi swaha, gate gate parasamgate bodhi swaha, gate gate parasamgate bodhi swaha. Of our personal dedications of merit, if there's somebody that you would like to have mentioned, let me know. There'll be a point at which I will ask if anyone wants to add anyone. All sentient beings are one seamless body and pass quickly from birth to death. We remember those who cared for us and are gone, those who are ill, those who are at war, who are hungry, and who are in pain. May they heal and have peace. We especially dedicate our service to Mike Gingy Wood, the Windwalker family, Bryant Guy family. Anyone else you'd like to? Robert?
Yeah, unfortunately, my 95-year-old aunt, Rose Mosner, fell down and hit her head, and she's in a tenuous state of possibly not recovering right now.
Anyone else?
The Veeraratna family.
Thank you. Anyone else? All beings in the 10 directions, subject to the greed, hatred, and delusions of themselves and others. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattva, Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Maha Prajna Paramita. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly by and opportunities to awaken are easily lost. Strive to realize your true nature. Do not squander your time by night or day. I kept talking about this as like the special Bodhi Day meditation session, and you could look at any of the YouTube videos of any other week of our meditation sessions, and you would see that they are by and large interchangeable. And Johnson alluded to it, and the parting words allude to it. We have the opportunity to awaken from moment to moment to moment. Don't waste time. Great. Well, thank you for joining us